Cannot overstress this. If you want to saw flat, if you want to saw fast, you watch the rooster tail, but you have to be able to read the cut while you're making the cut. If the rooster tail is dead level with the band, it's in line, you're sawing flat. But you have to be able to read the cut while you're making the cut. I had another blade manufacturer call me up and say they want to send me some blades. They want me to try them against my existing blades because they're better, they're faster, they're quicker, they're stuff. I told them I didn't think they were, but I'd try them anyway, so I'm going to give them a fair shot. A lot of people ask me, how do you know you're cutting straight before you exit the log? So you got to get instant feedback while you're sawing. Typically, if you have a blade that doesn't have perfect set, doesn't have perfect sharpness, is not doing what you want it to do, it will slowly dive through the log, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Still cutting straight, but it's diving. When it leaves the end of the log or the cant, you'll see it jump up. You'll see it bounce. That's a bad thing. When a good, sharp, clean, straight blade leaves the log, it just leaves it. There is no boink. There's no bounce, there's no deflection, it cuts straight. Obviously, if a blade's no good, you're gonna cut wavy wood. I'm assuming these blades are better than that. I've had blades that cut wavy wood, and those go in a garbage can after about the first pass because the price of these boards is much more than the price of a garbage band. So garbage bands go in the garbage can. Good bands go on my sawmill, and that's what we're going to be checking for. Another thing that we always check for is what's called the rooster tail. As the band leaves the log, the sawdust is entrained in the air pocket of the gullet of the band. That's why the gullet of the band is so important. As the band goes through the log, right, it's going through, it's cutting sawdust, it's capturing air, and the sawdust stays in an air sawdust suspension during the cut. It's not falling out, it's not dragging, and that way when the blade exits the cut, that air and sawdust suspension gets ejected. If you're having to scrape sawdust off your log, off your boards, you're using the wrong speed, or you're using the wrong band. Properly tuned blade or band in a sawmill will leave virtually no sawdust. Who wants to go around with a paint scraper and scrape sawdust off a board when you're trying to saw wood? I don't particularly like painting, and I certainly don't like scraping paint. And I cannot stand scraping sawdust. So what we're looking for then is as the sawdust leaves the log, it should be perfectly in line with the ejection direction of the band. The sawdust, if it's up or if it's down, that means your band is not cutting straight. If it's perfectly in line with the band, your band is cutting straight. Now what's cool about this is you'll see the sawdust trail flicker. That's how I know when I'm sawing too fast. That's how I know when I'm sawing too slow. That's how I know when I'm sawing right. Now sometimes if your blade is dull, you'll throw a wide tail. That means your band is dull. If it's a good sharp band, it's going to be very narrow. You'll almost not even see it till it gets out a couple inches. Very, very important. Cannot overstress this. If you want to saw flat, if you want to saw fast, if you want to get your saw blade or band optimized for your sawmill, you watch the rooster tail and you watch the bounce at the end of the cut. Of course, you always want to make sure you're entering correctly, and you always want to make sure that you're not getting some initial deflection up front. But you have to be able to read the cut while you're making the cut. And since we are a production mill, we don't want to be going slow, and we don't want to be going too fast. We want to be going to perfect speed. And when we're at the perfect speed, you'll get that beautiful sound. If somebody knows their audio, tell me what that note is when I hit that perfect speed on the band. You can hear it. It sings. It's wonderful. And your blade will not bounce at the end of the cut, and your sawdust trail will be perfectly in line with the band. So anyway, we're about to give this thing a try. I'm going to try some different camera angles. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I got to get really in there. Mill's going to be bouncing. Crazy things are going to be happening. First cut. Well, that's not a good start. First cut, I'm already seeing it's cutting off a little bit. So I'm going to put the camera on this so you can see it, and then if it keeps doing it, I'm fixing to swap the blade out. First cut, no good. 0 for 1. Wow, there is a lot of wrong going on with that last cut. You can see how the rooster tail is high. You can hear how the sound is off. You can see how the blade is binding. It's a mess. If you look real close, you'll see here where the blade is diving and causing the saw kerf to get so hot that it's steaming. It's boiling the moisture out of the log. That's bad. Not only is this indicating that it's a bad cut, it also indicates that you're damaging your blade. When it gets this hot, the pitch that's in the log will build up and burn onto the saw blade. And after that, it's impossible to cut straight with a pitchy blade. All right, so let's look at these boards. First thing you notice, there's a lot of sawdust on them. I shouldn't say a lot of sawdust, but there's too much sawdust on them. I don't like sawdust. Another thing you'll notice real fast are these chatter marks. And I think you can see that when the thing was sawing. Actually, if you look at it at the right angle, you can see these little chatter marks right here. You can see it real good from this side. See that? Unacceptable. I do not like seeing that in a new blade. Let me zoom up on that. See that? It means it's not cutting right. This band is coming off. Anyway, we're going to turn the camera off. I'm going to stack this wood. I'm going to put a new band on, and I'm going to get back to sawing. Always watch as the band exits the cut. If it's cutting high, if it's cutting low, when it comes out of the end, you will see it bounce. If the band is cutting straight like it's supposed to be, when you exit the cant or the log, you will see zero bounce. The blade will just come out as flat as a laser beam. I try to clean up the dive from the first blade that wasn't cutting straight. Yeah, that wasn't good. This is how a band is supposed to cut. It's going through this thing clean, straight. I've been able to put my speed up quite a bit higher than I did. All right, now that was more like it. You could see me on the screen increasing speed as I was getting more and more comfortable with this blade. I probably increased speed probably 25%. I'm sure you'll be able to see it in the video. So just having a good blade makes that much different. Anyway, let's look at some of these boards now. This is what they're supposed to look like. Nice, bright, clean. That's some pretty looking wood. If you're sawing a log and you're getting bad cuts, or you know the band is not performing well or to your expectations, do not finish sawing the log. You're supposed to be a professional or a hobbyist, but either way, the point is to make the wood as good as you can make it. So take the band off, put on a good one, and get back to sawing. It's just that simple. Don't put a bad chicken in the pot and go, hey, it'll be okay. Only 2 people are going to die from food poisoning. Hope y'all learned something. I enjoy making these videos. Please hit the subscribe and please hit the like button. I do appreciate it, and we will see you next time.